Hi everyone, welcome to the new episode of Peter's English podcast. This episode is called Peter's Film Magazine. I've decided to start my new series, Peter's Film Magazine, where I want to talk about series or movies in English that I've watched, and I want to talk with Microsoft Copilot about it because I want to share with you how to learn English with Microsoft Copilot, the AI chatbot, and talk with it about interesting topics. You can chat with it about movies, about every topic, and in this episode I want to talk about the most famous I want to talk about the most famous series, Game of Thrones. We can start. We found this famous jingle. We can start talking with. Wait a minute, I want. Now is everything okay? We can start. I'm streaming and recording. We can start our chat about Game of Thrones series. Introduce the series. Tell me about the main characters and actors and actress who played the main characters. As you can see, people, I want to talk about Game of Thrones with ChatGPT. I want to talk with it about this topic, and we can start. Let's light the torches and open the gates to Westeros, Peter. Welcome to Peter's Film Magazine, Game of Thrones Breaking Down the Throne with Microsoft Copilot. Series Introduction. This is, people, the message of Microsoft Copilot, not mine, of course. Series Introduction. Game of Thrones is an epic fantasy drama created by David Benioff and D. Weiss for HBO, based on George R. Martin's book series A Song of Ice and Fire. The show ran from 2011 to 2019, spanning 8 seasons and 73 episodes, and became a global phenomenon for its political intrigue, shocking twists, and cinematic scale. Set across the continents of Westeros and Essos, the story follows noble families vying for control of the Iron Throne while ancient threats rise in the north. It's a tale of power, betrayal, loyalty, and dragons. Lots of dragons. Main characters and cast. Jon Snow, played by Kit HaringtonThe. The brooding, honorable warrior raised as a Stark bastard who joins the Night's Watch and becomes a key player in the fate of the realm. Daenerys Targaryen, played by Emilia ClarkeThe, the exiled dragon queen, determined to reclaim her family's throne with fire, fury, and the 3 dragons at her side. Tyrion Lannister, played by Peter Dinklage, I don't know. The witty and sharp-tongued IMP of House Lannister, who proves that brains can outplay brawn. Cersei Lannister, played by Lena HeadeyThe, the ruthless queen who will do anything to protect her children and her power. Arya Stark, played by Maisie WilliamsThe, the fierce young star girl turned faceless assassin with a kill list and a destiny of her own. Sansa Stark, played by Sophie Turner, from naive noble girl to political powerhouse. Sansa's journey is one of survival and strength. Jaime Lannister, played by Nikolaj Coster-WaldauThe Kingslayer with a golden hand and a complicated heart. Bran Stark, played by Isaac Hempstead WrightThe, the boy who fell, became the free-eyed raven, and well, we'll get to that ending. Let me know when you're ready to dive into the plot twist, your favorite actress, or that infamous final. I've got the lore, the sass, and the spoilers locked and loaded. As you can see, people, you can chat with it, and I like Game of Thrones because it was very interesting. There are a lot of beautiful actresses, and the story is good. Is about tactic, betrayal, and yes, of course, the ending is totally terrible. But we can start with the story about the Starks. What happened in the start of the series? We can start to talk about the story of the Starks. Let's ride north to Winterfell, Peter. The story of the Stark family is the emotional backbone of Game of Thrones, a tale of honor, tragedy, resilience, and the occasional direwolf. House Stark of Winterfell, one of the oldest and most noble families in Westeros. The Starks ruled the North for thousands of years. Their motto, "Winter is coming," isn't just a warning, it's a way of life. They value loyalty, duty, and family above all else. The Stark family at the start of the series: Eddard Ned Stark, Jon Bean, Lord of Winterfell, Warden of the North, and the moral compass of the realm, until politics and secrets catch up with him in King's Landing. Catelyn Stark, Michelle Fairley, Ned's wife, fiercely protective of her children and deeply loyal to her house. Robb Stark, Richard Maiden, the eldest son who became king in the North during the War of the Five Kings. Sansa Stark, Sophie Turner, starts as a dreamy, noble girl but evolves into a sharp political strategist and eventual queen in the North. Arya Stark, Maisie WilliamsThe, the wild, independent daughter who trains as an assassin and becomes one of the most dangerous people in Westeros. Bran Stark, Isaac Hempstead WrightThe, paralyzed after a fall, he becomes the mystical free-eyed raven, and eventually, well, you know how that ends. Rickon Stark, Art Parkinson, the youngest Stark, whose fate is one of the show's many heartbreaks. Jon Snow, Kit Harington, Ned's supposed illegitimate son, raised in Winterfell. His true parentage becomes one of the series' biggest twists. The Starks endure betrayal, war, and loss, but they never lost their identity. From the Red Wedding to the Battle of the Bastards, their journey is a masterclass in survival and transformation. Ready to dive into their individual arcs? Or shall we start with Ned's fateful trip to King's Landing and how it all unraveled? Yes, of course, we can start with the Ned's journey to King's Landing. as we know, Ned Stark wasn't a good tactic or politician. Politic is another language. My opinion is about him that he was a good dad, a good lord of the Winterfell, but he wasn't a good we can ask about these words with Copilot, because I think it's Slovak words, but we'll see. We can start with Ned's journey and death. Ned's journey to King's Landing. My opinion is that Ned Stark was a naive warrior who cannot deal with politics, and he wasn't a strategist. He made a mistake that he agreed with the help of with the help for his king. We can start with Ned's journey to King's Landing. My opinion is that Ned Stark was a naive warrior who cannot deal with politics, and he wasn't any strategist. I'm sorry, people. He couldn't win this politics battle, and his death was terrible, but what can I say to that? He couldn't win this whole situation there, and he had to stay home, I think. And now what can say Copilot to this? Peter, I couldn't agree more with your take. Ned Stark was a man of honor in a world that rewarded cunning, and that mismatch was his undoing. When King Robert Baratheon rode to Winterfell and asked Ned to become Hand of the King, it wasn't just a royal favor, it was a trap wrapped in friendship. Ned accepted out of loyalty and duty, but he walked straight into the lion's den, literally with the Lannisters. He underestimated the political scheming in King's Landing and overestimated the value of truth in a court built on secrets. He was a brilliant soldier, a just lord, and a loving father, but a political player. Let's just say Littlefinger was playing 4D chess while Ned was still sharpening his sword. Your critic is spot on. He wasn't a strategist, and his refusal to adapt cost him his life. Imagine if he just played the game a little longer. He might have saved himself and changed the course of the realm. Want to dive into his biggest missteps next, or maybe contrast him with someone like Tyrion, who thrived in the same environment Ned couldn't survive. Yes, I agree with Microsoft Copilot that that Ned Stark wasn't any political player. He couldn't play this politics, and he was only just a good warrior or husband or dad. But that's all. These lions then in the thanks created by Lannisters was so big and so strong that he couldn't win this, and he died for this, and this was terrible. But we cannot change it. It's only a series. And what now? Want to look into the biggest mistakes next, or maybe contrast him? Yes, we can talk about Tyrion Lannister. We can talk about Tyrion Lannister. He is opposite of Ned Stark. Ah yes, Tyrion Lannister, the sharpest tongue in Westeros, and arguably the most beloved character in the entire series. Portrayed masterfully by Peter Dinklage, Tyrion is the youngest son of Tywin Lannister, born a dwarf and blamed for his mother's death during childbirth. Despite being mocked as the imp or half-man, he uses his wit, intelligence, and brutal honesty to navigate a world that constantly underestimates him. Tyrion's journey in a nutshell. Season 1 starts as a wine-loving outsider, but proves his worth and at the Battle of the Green Fork. His relationship with Jon Snow and his defense of the downtrodden show his deeply early on. Season 2 and from 2 to 4th becomes Hand of the King to Joffrey, where he shines as a political strategist. His trial for Joffrey's murder and the betrayal by Shae at Tywin, pure heartbreak. Season 5 and 6 flees Westeros, ends up in Essos and becomes advisor to Daenerys Targaryen. His belief in her vision is strong, maybe too strong. Season 7 to 8, his loyalty is tested as Dany's darker side emerges. After her destruction of King's Landing, Tyrion betrayed her and is imprisoned, but ultimately became Hand of the King to Bran Stark, proving that brains and little sass can outlast fire and blood. Yes, of course, I agree with Microsoft Copilot that Tyrion Lannister was a perfect politician. He had very strong brain, very good brain. He was very smart, and he was a very good strategist. But I don't agree that with Microsoft Copilot that his trust was too strong to Daenerys Targaryen, because the scenery of the series was created that she was mad and evil in the end. But okay, we can continue with, yes, of course, with Joffrey. Joffrey. Wait a minute. We can talk about Joffrey. Yes, Joffrey Baratheon, the crown prince of House himself. I agree. Of course. Joffrey is one of most infamous characters in Game of Thrones, and not just because of his golden curls and royal sneer, played brilliantly by Jack Gleeson, Joffrey starts as the seemingly charming heir to the throne, but quickly reveals himself to be a sadistic, entitled tyrant with a taste for cruelty and zero emotional intelligence. His lineage or lack thereof. Officially, he is the son of King Robert Baratheon and Queen Cersei Lannister, but in reality, he is the product of Cersei's incestuous relationship with her twin brother Jaime Lannister, making him a Lannister through and through despite the Baratheon name. Key moments in the series. Season 1. Stars of Smack and Spoiled. After Robert's death, Joffrey seizes the throne and immediately orders the execution of Ned Stark, igniting the War of the Five Kings. Season 2 and 3. His reign is marked by brutality and humiliation, especially towards Sansa Stark, whom he once promised to marry. He delights in violence and public punishment, often ignoring the advice of his council. Season 4 marries Margaery Tyrell, but during the wedding feast aka the Purple Wedding, he is poisoned and dies in dramatic gasping fashion. One of the most satisfying villain exit in TV history. Personality in one word, unhinged. His impulsive, cruel and power drunk. Even his own grandfather Tyrion Lannister considered him unfit to rule, and Tyrion, let's just say their uncle-nephew dynamic was strained. Yes, Joffrey Baratheon. He was the worst villain in the history of the TV of the TV history. Yes, I agree. He was a villain. He was sadistic beast. He hasn't any emotions. He was totally terrible. He was a monster. I hate this character. He has done so a lot of crimes, and yes, of course, I forgotten to say you that he was only the bastard too, because his parents were his mother Cersei, but yes, of course, Cersei had romantic relationship with her own brother. It was an incest. That means he couldn't be a king. Yes, of course, he couldn't. And yes, of course, we can continue. We can continue with his relationship with Sansa Stark. Oh yes, Peter, let's dive into one of the most twisted and tragic dynamics in Game of Thrones, Joffrey and Sansa. From fairy tale to nightmare. At first, young Sansa Stark is enchanted by Prince Joffrey. She dreams of being queen, marrying a handsome prince and living a life of courtly romance. But that fantasy shatters fast. After Joffrey orders the execution of her father, Ned Stark, right in front of her, the relationship turns into a psychological prison. Joffrey's cruelty. Joffrey doesn't just break Sansa's heart. He torments her. He forces her to look at her father's severed head. Has her beaten by Sir Meryn Trant and constantly humiliates her in court. Even after their betrayal is broken, he continues to threaten and mock her, including a chilling moment of her wedding to Tyrion, where he whispers that he'll come to her bed after your husband passes out. He was a monster. Yes, of course. Yes, of course, Sansa was a little naive too, but but she was thinking that that Joffrey is handsome young prince. She was thinking that she is normal. She was thinking that that Joffrey is normal, but the beauty isn't everything, of course. And then it was so as Microsoft Copilot has written that Joffrey totally has destroyed the relationship with Sansa Stark, and he totally I can use the vocabulary of Microsoft Copilot. I forgotten. At first, she broke her heart when he orders to kill her father before her. That's totally terrible. He is a monster. And then, yes, of course, this is true that yes, he forces her to look at her father's severed head, and then he has her beaten by Sir Meryn Trant and constantly humiliates her in the court. Yes, do you remember, people, this scene? It was terrible. I was shocked. How can be so evil? His own wife. He could love his wife Sansa, and he could be her partner, but he was a monster in the end. And yes, of course, Sansa made a big mistake that she came with her sister and with her father to King's Landing. What now? Yes, we head to Sansa's grove, but then here's the twist. Sansa survives. She learns to mask her emotions, play the political game, and endure. Her time as Joffrey's prisoner is brutal, but it's also the crucible that beckons forgiving her into the powerful woman she becomes. Yes, that's terrible school. It wasn't school. That terrible situation was thanks to this brutal, terrible situation. Sansa to survive, and she became the powerful woman behind the scene. Oh, something interesting from Microsoft Copilot. Interestingly, Jack Gleeson, Joffrey, and Sophie Turner had a great off-screen friendship. Really? Well, yes, of course, it was only a series. Gleeson even retired from acting after the show, partly because of how convincingly people hated his character. Yeah, really? Yes, of course, his character was terrible. Joffrey was an evil monster. Want to follow Sansa's journey next from hostage to queen in the north? Yes, of course. Let's do it. We can wait for this is the answer. Peter, it's time for the purple wedding roast. Scene King's Landing. Joffrey's wedding to Margaery is in full royal overdrive. Musicians playing, wine flowing, and smugness dialed up to 11. As usual, Joffrey is being peak Joffrey, mocking Tyrion with dwarf reenactments, waving his crossbow like it's party decor and making everyone wildly uncomfortable. Yes, this scene when Joffrey is playing with the crossbow is terrible. Is how he can do that? I don't understand. It was terrible. and making everyone valiant and comfortable. Yes, of course. Then he sips the wine, coughs, chokes, purple face, boom! This scene, yes, of course, this scene was shock too, because I didn't, it was a big shock when Joffrey was killed, and this was the end of the tyrant who and a monster who destroys everything, kill a lot of innocent people, and he was terrible. And the world collectively cheered. Let's be honest, no villain in TV history earned their demise quite like Joffrey. After seasons of cruelty, his death felt like poetic justice with a vintage bouquet. Even the goblet looked guilty. Your commentary idea, straight fine. Sansa watched Joffrey die like someone watching karma deliver express shipping. Or how about he finally choked, not on power but on Marjorie's hospitality menu. The brilliance of the scene, it finally gave fans closure. And yet it kicked off a whole new mystery. Who poisoned him? Why? Was it Tyrion? Was it Grandma Olenna Tyrell? Aka Westeros top tier savage? Spoiler alert, tell Cersei I want her to know it was me. Want to dive into the Tyrell's text? Yes, it was Olenna. It was the Grandma Olenna Tyrell who killed Joffrey. I want her to know it was me. I hope people that you don't watch it when you haven't seen it, because episode about it has a lot of spoilers, and we can continue. Want to dive into Tyrell's next? Alright. Into Sansa Great Escape. I want to talk about her sister, of course. I want to talk about her sister. We have to wait. Let's talk about the one and only Arya Stark, the blade in the dark, the girl with many names and the ultimate plot twist in human form. Arya's journey from Winterfell to legend. Arya starts off as the wild, headstrong youngest daughter of Ned and Catelyn Stark. While Sansa dreamed of courtly life, Arya wanted swordplay, adventure and freedom. She never fit the mold of a lady, and thank to old gods for that, because her path was anything but ordinary. Yes, of course, she liked playing with swords. She liked freedom. She didn't want to be a noble lady. She wanted to marry with someone. After witnessing her father's execution, Arya escapes King's Landing and begins a long, brutal journey across Westeros and Essos. She trains with the faceless man in Bravos, becoming a deadly assassin who can literally wear other people's faces, but in the end, she reclaims her identity. A girl is Arya Stark of Winterfell, and I'm going home. Yes, of course, this was very Stark, very good scene. Yes, because she wanted to help her family, but yes, her journey was very interesting, very dangerous, but she was the one of the most powerful and dangerous assassins in Westeros. She has made a lot of good work, and her practice with her sword and with her and practice her skills was perfect. Her greatest hits: survives Harrenhal, The Hound, and the House of Black and White. Avenges the Red Wedding by wiping out House Frey with a pie, no less. I don't know if I'm reading good. Reunites with Sansa and helps execute Littlefinger. Yes, this was very very good scene when when finally Littlefinger has to be killed because he was an villain too. Kills the Night King with the most iconic dagger drop in TV history. Yes, she kills the Night King. Arya was had that dagger. Yes, ends the series sailing west to explore the unknown because Arya doesn't follow map, she makes them. This the final scene. I hate it. Why she didn't want to marry the bastard of Robert Baratheon? I don't understand. It could be better. Played by Maisie Williams, who brought Arya to life with grit, nuance, and whole lot of eyebrow acting. Her performance earned Emmy nominations and permanent place in pop culture. Arya Arcs is about survival in identity and choosing your own path, even when the world tries to write your story for you. Want to dive into her training with Faceless Man next, or maybe her reunion with the Hound and that unforgettable not today moment? Oh, I think that this episode isn't about one episode. I think that we have that I'm or we can continue. Why not? I'll be streaming for 46 minutes, and I am chatting with Microsoft Copilot about Game of Thrones, and there are a lot of things. There are a lot of stories. There are a lot of interesting stories. Even when the bot tries to die to her training with the Faceless Man next, or maybe her reunion with the Hound and that unforgettable not today moment. Yes, her training with the Faceless Man was great. Absolutely, Peter. Arya's training with the Faceless Man was one of the most intense and mysterious arcs in the entire series, like a deadly Hogwarts for assassins, but with fewer vents and way more poison. The House of Black and White Bravos. Arya arrives seeking vengeance, but what she finds is a cult of death worshipping assassins who serve the many-faced god. Their motto, Valar Morghulis. Do you remember this phrase? Valar Morghulis. All men must die. Her training included identity erasure. Arya had to give up her name, her past, and even needle her sword to become no one. Blind combat. After breaking the rules, she was blinded and forced to fight in total darkness, sharpening her sense and instincts. Poison mastery. She learned to mix and administer poisons, a key skill for silent assassinations. Face swapping magic. Using the skin face or the dead, Arya could literally become someone else, though the show never fully explained the magic behind it. The Wave's brutal legends. Her rival trainee, the Wave, constantly tested her with beatings and mind games. Arya's final victory over her was a turning point. The twist: Arya never truly became no one. She completed the training, but in the end, she reclaimed her identity. A girl is Arya Stark of Winterfell, and I'm going home. Perfect. Yes, people, Arya's story is perfect. Her training was very hard. She had to, yes, the first thing was she she had to forgotten who she was in the past, and she trained. She had to train when she was blind. She trained with the poisons, and she had to learn how to use the skinned face of the dead. Arya could literally become someone else. Yes, but this was never fully explained. Oh. What next? We can talk about Sophie Turner and Maisie Williams. Again, I don't know how to write it in English, but okay. Let's shine the spotlight on the Stark sisters, Sophie Turner and Maisie Williams. Two powerhouse actresses who grew up on screen and became icons of Game of Thrones. Sophie Turner, Sansa Stark. Sophie was just 14 years old when she was cast as Sansa Stark, making Game of Thrones her first professional acting role. Over 8 seasons, she transformed from a naive noble girl into the Queen in the North, delivering a performance that earned her an Emmy nomination in 2019. Off-screen, Sophie has spoken candidly about the emotional toll of filming intense scenes at such a young age, revealing she developed coping mechanisms to handle the pressure. Despite the challenges, she became a global star and later took on roles like Jean Grey in the X-Men films. Fun fact: she died. I don't know how to read it. She died. No, her naturally blonde hair or auburn for the role of Sansa until season 7, when she switched to wigs. Maisie Williams, Arya Stark. Maisie made her acting debut at age 13 as Arya Stark, the sword-wielding face-swapping assassin who became a fan favorite. Her portrayal earned her 2 Emmy nominations, and she did many of her own stunts, including fighting left-handed to match Arya's character. After Thrones, Maisie starred in shows like 2 Weeks to Live and Pistol, and even co-founded creative platform called Daisy to help young artists break into the industry. She's also been open about the identity struggles that came with growing up in the spotlight. Together, Sophie and Maisie weren't just co-stars, they became real-life best friends, really. That's interesting, often showing up to red carpets and interviews with matching energy and inside jokes. Their bond gave the Stark Easter story even more heart. Want to explore their post-Thrones careers? No. Oh, I think that is the right time to talk about the romance between Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen. Yes, and this will be the end of the episode. I want to talk with you about the romantic romance between Jon Snow and Dany. Yes, Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen, the most talked about couple in Westeros, and possibly the most controversial romance in the entire series. Their relationship, often dubbed Joneris by fans, began in season 7, when Jon traveled to Dragonstone to seek Daenerys' help against the White Walkers. At first, they clashed. He wouldn't bend the knee and she didn't believe in the undead. But over time, mutual respect turned into trust, and then into something more intimate. They consummate their relationship aboard a ship sailing north, unaware of the massive twist looming over them. Jon is actually Aegon Targaryen, Daenerys' nephew. Yep. Surprise family reunion. Their romance was passionate but short-lived. In season 8, as Daenerys grew more ruthless and Jon learned the truth about his lineage tension built. The final blow came when Jon, torn between love and duty, stabbed Daenerys in the heart to stop her from becoming a tyrant. It was tragic, twisted, and very Game of Thrones. At first, I want to talk about her story. Tell me more about Dany. I have to tell you about Dany, and then I can tell you my opinion for the end of the story, and then we can quit it. Peter, let's dive deeper into the firestorm that is Daenerys Targaryen, a character who went from timed exile to dragon riding queen, and then, well, let's just say the arc got heated. Origins and exile. Daenerys was born during a storm on Dragonstone, earning her the name Daenerys Stormborn. She was the daughter of King Aerys II, the infamous Maid King and Queen Rhaella. After Robert's rebellion toppled House Targaryen, she and her brother Viserys fled into exile across Essos. Rise to power. Sold into marriage to Khal Drogo as a Dothraki warlord, Dany began as a pawn but quickly found her strength. After Drogo's death, she walked into his funeral pyre and emerged unburnt with 3 baby dragons. That moment changed everything. From there, she liberated cities like Astapor, Yunkai, and Meeren, earning titles like Breaker of Chains and Mhysa Mother, built in an army of unsullied second sons and loyal followers, took on the mantle of Queen of Meeren and later claimed her birthright to the Ironstone. Tragedy and transformation. Daenerys believed she was destined to break the wheel of tyranny, but after losing close allies and facing reaction in Westeros, her vision darkened. In the final season, she burned King's Landing despite its surrenders, killing thousands. Her descent into vengeance echoed her father's madness. In the end, Jon Snow, her lover and nephew, killed her to prevent further destructions. A tragic end to a character who once inspired hope. Portrayed by Emilia Clarke, who brought Dany to life with fierce vulnerability. Despite the devious ending, her performance remains one of the show's most iconic. What to explore her relationship with her dragons next, or maybe her transformation from Liberator to Inquirer? Yes, we can continue. My opinion is that she wanted to save everything and everyone. I don't agree with the scenery of the series. My opinion is, people, that I don't agree with the scenery of the of the series, because yes, in the scenery in the series, at first she helped a lot of people. She wanted to build something, but then she was bad and she killed thousands of innocent people. This is true, but this was only the scenery. She loves Jon Snow. She sent one of her dragons to save them. Then she sends the army that had to fight against these creatures from the north. I think these zombies, or how I can call them, and she wanted to to end slavery in the Westeros. She wanted to the scenario could be that she could be a great queen with Jon Snow, and Jon Snow could be her husband and the king, and it was the perfect couple and the perfect ending. If of course the scenario, if of course the end wasn't so tragic for her. I think that the end, that in the end, her relationship with Jon Snow could continue, and of course, the end could be normal. That she only could won the battle, the final battle, and she didn't continue with her madness, and then everything would be okay. But I don't understand this ending, and why Bran was the king. Why? My opinion is that this was inspired by the real Middle Age, where lords wanted to rule in the kingdom and they hated king, and I don't agree with this, because we could see Dany's character from the start until the end, and in the start she wanted to help people. She was normal. She tried to be a good queen, but I don't understand why she has to be a mad queen. I don't understand. She could be normal until the end and help people and be a strong, good queen, and not a mad queen. And now I can read you the opinion of Microsoft Copilot. Peter, that's a powerful take, and honestly, it taps into the heart of what made Daenerys such a polarizing figure. She did begin with the goal of saving people, freeing the enslaved, toppling tyrants, building a better world. She genuinely believed she was the breaker of chains. That savior complex, though noble at first, became darker once it collided with betrayal, grief, and unchecked power. Yeah, your opinion that she wanted to save everyone feels deeply human. The scenery around her, the collapsing loyalty, the rushed pacing, the visual symbolism of her standing before a burning city like a dragon queen of doom didn't fully support the nuance of her intentions, and that disconnect is what made a lot of viewers like you feel the scenery didn't match the story. Yes, I want to tell you that I hate the ending of this series. Why was Daenerys Targaryen evil and mad in the end? She had her dream. She wanted to save slavers. She wanted to end imperialism. She wanted to end feudalism, and her dream was good. But the lords wanted to save their properties, of course, and they was shocked that she was so strong. And yes, of course, the scenery was so naive and bad that she has to be evil. Okay, it was the scenery, but I don't agree with it. And she could be a good queen, and her dreams was good, but the scenery was so that she has to be evil. If you have written the scenery, how would her story visually unfold? A peaceful surrender? Yes, my scenery is so. she my dream about her is that she could end as a normal good queen. She didn't kill someone in the end because with her dragon, but she could have two dragons, because this scene when Cersei's ally has killed her second dragon and was terrible. And yes, of course, we can talk about the death of Jon Snow in previous seasons. I don't understand why she had to be alive in the end of the series. But okay, he was alive, but why she killed her? Because of the scenery, because she was evil. Okay, I agree. But the scenery was stupid. That she could be a good queen. She could be a good queen. She didn't kill someone innocent, of course, and her dream was good. I think that this could be the best ending for Game of Thrones. Daenerys Targaryen, the queen, with her husband and lover Jon Snow as her husband. She could be the queen, and he could be the prince, and the most powerful could be Daenerys, and she could be a good queen. But of course, she cannot kill someone in the end. But this this was the scenario of the movie. Remember, this was the scenario. I have to repeat it because this was really a scenario in that she has to be evil. And yes, I can tell you my joke that I created about it. That in the end scene, Jon Snow killed Daenerys Targaryen with his weapon, and she told her, "I'm sorry, darling, I had to kill you because the stupid scenario of the series. I love you, but what can I do with it? Nothing. I'm sorry, Danny." Yeah. What in the end of this episode? I'm streaming for at least for 57 minutes. I think we can end it. I can read it again. This message from Microsoft Copilot. Peter, that's a powerful take, and honestly, if it taps into the heart of what made Daenerys such a polarizing figure. She did begin with the goal of saving people, freeing the enslaved, toppling tyrants, building a better world. She genuinely believed she was the breaker of chains. That savior complex, though noble at first, became dark once it collided with betrayal, grief, and unchecked power. Your opinion that she wanted to save everyone feels deeply human. The scenery around her, the collapsing loyalty, the rushed pacing, the visual symbolism of her standing before a burning city like a dragon queen of doom didn't fully support the nuance of her intention. Yes, in the start she was a good queen. She wanted to help people, she wanted to destroy slavery, she wanted to destroy feudalism, she wanted to destroy lords that used people for hard work. And then in the end she ended like a mad queen. Why this scenario was so stupid and naive? Why? I don't agree with it, but everyone has different opinion. Yes, I want to end, and yes, of course, I wanted to, and now we can speak. I want to speak about the most beautiful actress, actresses of of Game of Thrones. I want to speak about the most beautiful actresses of Game of Thrones. Peter, now we're entering royal territory. The women of Game of Thrones weren't just powerful, they were stunning, each in their own unique way. Beauty in Westeros came with brains, bravery, and a whole lot of screen presence. Let's spotlight a few favorite actresses who often top the list. Emilia Clarke, Daenerys Targaryen, the mother of dragons herself, regal, radiant, and fierce. Emilia's expressive eyes and platinum blonde look became iconic, but is her warmth and intensity that made her unforgettable. And now, people, my opinion, the most beautiful actress in Game of Thrones is for me Emilia Clarke. She won this competition because she was always my favorite actress. She was always my favorite actress of Game of Thrones. She's the most beautiful, and I loved her because at first she was good queen. She wanted to help people, and I like her power as a queen. I like her dominance. I like how good leader she was, and I like dominate women who are strong and are good leaders. And she was the best leader of the Westeros, and I don't agree with it about her ending. Her ending was terrible. Natalie Dormer, Marguerite Tyrell. With that signature smirk and piercing gaze, Natalie brought elegance and cunning to Marguerite. Her beauty was matched by her character's political savvy. Yes, Natalie Dormer is very beautiful actress. I like her too. We can continue with Maisie Williams. Maisie's charm lies in her fierce independence and expressive face. Arya wasn't about glamour, she was about grit, and that made her captivating in a whole different way. Yes, when she was Maisie Williams adults, from that time she's very beautiful actress. I like her too. Sophie Turner, Sansa Stark. From porcelain princess to queen in the north, Sophie's transformation was stunning. Her tall, graceful presence and striking blue eyes made her stand out. Yes, Sophie Turner, my second most beautiful actress. She is on the second place, and Maisie Williams is in the third place. Yes, this is the top 3 of most beautiful actresses in my eyes, and Sophie Turner is very beautiful. Caris for Van Houten, Melisandre. Yes, Melisandre, the actress who played Melisandre was very beautiful. Really. The Red Woman was mysterious and mesmerizing. Yes, I agree. Carrie's ethereal beauty and haunting voice gave Melisandre an almost supernatural allure. Natalie Emmanuel, Missandei. Graceful, poised and effortlessly elegant, Natalie brought both strength and softness to her role. Her presence lit up every scene she was in. Missandei? Wait a minute. Natalie Emmanuel Missandei. Who? Wait a minute. Who we are talking about? Missandei. Yes, of course. She's Missandei. Wait a minute. Missandei, yes, the Missandei. She was Missandei, I think. The beautiful woman with the Natalie Emmanuel. Wait a minute. We have to find. fictional. Natalie Emmanuel. Yes, Natalie Emmanuel. Yes, she was a good friend with Dany. Yes, I agree. She was very beautiful too, and I think yes, Cersei Lannister, the actress was very beautiful, and we cannot forget to the actress who played the first love of Jon Snow. She was very beautiful actress. I don't know her name, and that's it, people. That's it. I'm ending the live episode, live stream. People, Game of Thrones, a very famous series. You can read the books too. I want to read it too. It was very interesting story, very interesting series with the beautiful actresses, with a good story, with a lot of action, betrayal, and everything what a good series has to have. And I recommend you to watch it, but the most terrible is violence. Be careful with the watching it, because there are a lot of violence, and I hate violence in general. I don't want to see violence in any movie, but I was watching it because the series in general was good, but I hated violence. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and I want to tell you bye bye.